Hello ladies and gents, today we are going to learn how to do or how to work an Airtable. Log into here, go on the link in the description below. I'll log in with my new email. Now let's go through this beginning bit. What team am I on? I can skip it, I'm going to skip that. We are not going to collaborate with anyone at the moment, so I'll just skip it and close this thing at the top. So the cool thing here is that we've got a 14-day trial. So we get all the fancy stuff. And initially, this is our workspace. And when you click create here, that will let you create your own base. A base can contain multiple tables, sort of like Excel sheets. I would recommend starting from scratch. If you're a beginner, I wouldn't use any templates. It'll be too hard to get your head around those. So let's start from scratch. Let's get started. Just going to go got it. I want to close this thing on the right hand side here and get rid of any other pop-ups that come along. Just close everything. And okay, so what's going on here? On the top left, this is where we are going to call our base. We're actually going to be learning how to make a couple tables for content creation. So let's call this content creation. And here you can choose various colors. Now you can only choose the more solid colors later when you run out of the trial. You won't be able to see these more softer ones. So I like this minty color, I'm gonna go with that. See some content creation icon, camera will do. And let's call our table video projects and click save. And what this does is it names our table. Instead of table 1 now it's called video projects. And in this table, what we want to set up is the titles of the videos that we are going to post on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to delete everything here. And to do that, you just right click on the status, let's say, and go all the way down, delete field, delete field, delete field. And you can change the name of this column here. Now you can't actually get rid of this one ever, because this one holds the record ID of each row. A record ID is like a number for a specific row. So just in case you ever get the same name, so for example, if I get Henrik and Henrik on the same, like in the same column, these two will actually be picked up as two different rows because they have different record IDs. Well, I'll show you guys that later and when we do the automations part. Okay, so double left click on the name. And we'll change this to title or video title, whatever you'd like. And then we'll add status. And let's see if we can find single select. Now single select is the one that I use the most. And I like this one because you can choose the type of things that you want in your, you can just like click on it once you create it. So you have to keep on retyping stuff. So let's say I have an idea for a video and let's call this one, let's make this one yellow. Then we have another status where we are now, let's say maybe researching about the idea. Let's go this one. Let's say we've researched stuff and we're ready to record. Once we've recorded, we want to edit it. Let's make it this color. And once we've edited it, we want to do our thumbnail. And our last thing that we'll do for our YouTube video is publish it. Now we'll make this one, yeah, nicer big green for it. And create field. Let's keep going with the other columns. So another thing you could have here is the categories, and we'll just do a single select as well. Here I will have, you can either have maybe a tutorial, or what else could you have? Like a vlog or travel. So we've got tutorial, vlog, travel, and I will go and create field. So it creates this column for us. Let's go create our next column and we'll call this one a deadline. And in the sort of like the calendar or the date option, what you can do is you can actually choose the different ways to represent this. See, I never grew up in the US, so I don't like how they have it the other way around, but it is 3.14 today. Happy Pi Day, everyone. And I'm going to go with the friendly one and include time zone. And create field. And we'll get a little bit into formulas here. So if you scroll all the way down, once you've clicked on this, on that little plus there, have an option here for formula here somewhere. There you go. And there's a cool one that does, if you type in diff, what it does is get you the difference between some date and today's date, and then gives you the answer in days or weeks or months, whatever you choose. The date diff, and it actually is coming up with the deadline here. If you type in the curly bracket and then it comes up with like a drop down, click on deadline. So what it does is it picks up on whatever numbers or dates are going to be in our deadline, and then go capital today, and then we'll go in days. We want to see how far away or how close we are to completing our deadline and create field. So it's coming up with nothing at the moment because we don't have any deadline here. And I might actually just left click, select and drag and delete all these selected projects. Cool. Let's name our first video. And one of the first ones I did was about voice flow deployment. Now let's just pretend I'm in the researching realm about voice flow deployment. This is going to be a tutorial. And usually what I do is I try and do a video every Friday now. So let's go March the 1st. And it did a calculation and we are now almost 14 days behind. So 2 weeks behind our deadline. So it calculated that for us automatically, which is pretty cool. Let's do one more video and we'll call this one Traveling with Cat. If you guys haven't seen that video, go watch it please. And we are now, let's say we are now editing it, and this is a travel, and the deadline would be the week after. So we are 6 days behind that one in this particular scenario. So at the top here, we've got some extra things we can click on. So for example, if we want to hide a field, so let's say we want to hide the deadline because it's stressing us out. We just hide it, and we also hide this. They're not there anymore, but you can bring it back up by seeing that there's like, see how it's like blue now? You can click on it and then turn it back on. So that's another cool way you can do that. And all right, let's make a second table, because the beauty of Airtable and the reason why we use it is it has relational data in it. So things that connect up and have relationships. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's start. So you click on the plus here, you can add a blank table from scratch. And we'll have this one be tasks. So what task do I need to complete to make a video? I'm just going to double click on the name and call it task name. If you're working in a team, it might be helpful to have the assigned user. Yeah, so you can assign to a user. So before, when we started up, you could have chosen to add a bit more collaborators. So this is where you can maybe hand it off to Bob or Fred if you're working in a team. But at the moment, I'm just going to choose myself. And the task that we need to do is to research how to voice flow. We also will need to get some papers for our cat V, that's her name. And research how to deploy voice flow chatbot. And we could also have deadlines for this. I already had an assignee here, my bad. So we just did it twice. Just going to delete that column. I have another deadline for it. Go date. I'll do the same thing as before. Let's say our deadline was then. That's here. And then the same week we'll have, let's say on the 9th, so a day after. So how to deploy it. And we'll just assign myself or yourself to this part here. So a cool thing once you've got a task is we could probably do a checkbox here. And this is quite nice. You can just say, yeah, I've done it. And that moves on, that could move your flow on to something else next. Maybe you also want to keep track of how long you've spent on each task. So let's say the duration, and we'll just keep it in hours and minutes. So let's say you've done a task, so you've done it, you want to keep track of it. And you spent 2 hours on it. That's another one you could do. And yeah, that's pretty much it for like setting up your 2 different tables and tasks. Before I talked about relational data. So what you can do in Airtable, and the beauty of it is you can link a field this is a field, for example, this one right here that I've highlighted, that says -13. This is another field, this is 1st of March. So you can link another column and their fields to another field and column in a second table. A link to another called, and we want to link it to the table called tasks. So this second one here. So what happens when you allow linking to multiple records? What this means is then you'll be able to put in multiple tasks into this one field. If you click it off, you can only put one task in. So for the sake of it, I'm going to show you. Turn it on, create field, just skip this part. And now what you can do is you can press on the plus. You can add the research how to voice flow, and we can click on research how to deploy voice flow. Now you can put 2 in. Okay, but let's say I only wanted to do, just allow one field to link to it. So confirm change. And now I can't add any more to it. That's the difference between the two. So I'm going to right click edit field, and I actually want to allow multiple records because I do want to see how many extra things I need to do to finish off this first video of voice flow deployment. And then we can add a task for this one. So the cool thing is you can keep track of different data in different tables and still have them be interconnected here. So let's maybe get into the automations part of things. So at the top here, you've got data, automations, and interfaces. I personally haven't actually played around with the interfaces yet. I've done a little bit of the automation, so I'll show you some things I've learned from here. So let's say, for the sake of this video, when we create a new record, so when I type something in here, I want to go and change this so that it says idea here. So instead of me clicking that each time I come up with something, I want that to be automatically displayed here. How would I do that? So you go into automations, add trigger. When a record is created, so when we make a new record, and on the right hand side, you'll see that we got options for the configurations, and we can select the table that we want to work in. In this case, we want to work on the first table called video projects. Just gonna skip that. Don't worry about anything else here, and then go here. When a record is created, what we want to do is update a record. So what we'll do is update the status. That's what we want to do. In the configuration, choose the video projects because that's the table that we still want to be working in. That's the one that we will automate. The record ID. All right, so what is this record ID? I might actually be able to get one from here in the test. Choose record. Okay, there it is. Airtable record ID and record ID are the same thing. It's just that's the record ID for this whole row. Like this whole row, everything here, including the title. And if we try choose a record and go for the next one, the base record URL stays the same. So there's app VMX here, that stays the same, but this will change because this is now a second row. See that now it's different, but the VMX stay the same. So base record URL refers to like this whole thing here, this whole page. So now let's go back and click on update record, and the record ID, what we want to do is click on Airtable record ID, and what this will reference is the new created record ID. That's what this will do. And then the field that we want to change or update is the status field. And then we can drop down and select idea. And that should be it. So now if we click on at the just here, that should work. Let's type something in here. There you go. We've automated our first thing in Airtable. Feels pretty cool. There's some more pretty nice things that I like about Airtable. So you can use Kanban view. Kanban view, if you haven't used Notion, Notion's amazing. Kanban's sort of like Notion. So what you can do is see how you're going with all your projects or your videos in this case. I'm just going to collapse that stack and you can see which one, like how they're traveling. So you can go from idea, researching, editing, thumbnail to publish, and you see how many of them are in there. So let's say we finish VoiceFlow deployment. We can actually change the status in here to publish, and it automatically moves it here. Notice that you can also left click and drag all these, and it should. So moving this, I thought it would change the statuses of them, but it didn't. So we had idea, researching, editing, thumbnail, and then publish. The other pretty good one would be gallery as well, because in this one you can see all the different video projects that you've got going on. You can see the deadline and things like that very easily. So the gallery view is quite nice too. And obviously the calendar one, it lets you know when stuff is due. So I'll probably have like a video here, and here on the 15th, 22nd, and 29th. I think that's it for a beginner Airtable tutorial. So you guys learnt today how to make single select fields, how to work with time, a bit of formulas, and how to link to different tables to work with relational data a little bit. And we've done some tick boxes, and we've also done our first automation. And yeah, if you need any help with anything at all in the AI space, I've been in the game for quite a bit, and if you're just starting off your own AI agency, I'm very happy to help you. The first 30 minutes is free. Just book in the link below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Signing out.